It's Jeff at Slavens Racing. This video is about fork seals in general and how they should be installed. Just a brief description of how they should be installed and some differences between the seals. I get people that call me, they buy a set of these SKF seals from us, the kind of greenish color ones here, and they call me up and say, well, which direction do they go in? Well, all seals go in the same way. I don't care if it's going in an engine or a fork or whatever it is. It's easy to figure out which way they go in, and fork seals especially. You know, guys have said, "Oh, these SKF seals look so much different than other seals." Well, no, they don't. They're exactly the same as other seals, except for some seals don't have a external lip on them, a third lip. That's what this is. This is an NOK seal that KTM used for the last few years. In 2013, they switched over to SKFs. This was a previous version of that NOK seal. And then these are the dust wipers that go on the outside. So these are the oil seals, these are the dust seals. So there's a lot of seals out there that are built like this that don't have this third lip with this pressure ring on it. And there's some red ones out there that are made in Asia. A lot of different companies sell them. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus here, but there's several different companies out there that private label and put their name on them and call them their seals. And they're red and they're all junk. They have very poor fitment and they will leak in no time at all. And they are very sticky. So they create a lot of stiction because they're too tight. And then they're difficult to get back out later because the outside diameter is wrong on them. It's a little too tight of a fit. And so they're difficult to get back out of the fork after they start leaking on you. So don't, avoid those red ones like the plague. These NOKs are okay, but they're not great. The SKF seals are in a class of their own as far as quality and service life. They really reduce stiction. They last longer by a long shot than any seal I've ever used or seen. They're a very high quality product. Why they last longer, I don't really know. I assume it's just because of the rubber compound and the overall design, but when you compare them to these other seals, they really don't look that much different. This NOK seal has the upper tension ring on it, as does this. So, back to the question that people ask me on the phone, how do they go in? Well, the one that has this outer sealing ring on it, tension ring, that's the outside, so that goes towards the dust seal or towards the ground. So the fork would be like this. It's always easy to tell. I mean, the seal's always going to be built like this, where the oil goes behind the seal and puts pressure on the seal to squeeze it in. So as the fork's going up and down, the pressure builds up and pushes, gets behind the lip of the seal here, and squeezes the seal against the tube. I saw a video, I don't know, a year or so ago from a competitor that specializes in KTM LC4 or LC8 engine stuff, the twins. And they've got a video on their site talking about how you've got to have bleeders on your forks to reduce the pressure so it doesn't blow the seals. Well, that's totally incorrect. More pressure would actually make the seal tighter against the tube. It would not blow anything. So if you had more pressure inside the fork, it's actually going to squeeze the fork seal against the tube even more. Now, are bleeders necessary? Absolutely. But they're for a totally different reason. They bleed the pressure out of the fork so that makes it more compliant on the small bumps. Because the pressure builds up over the time and the fork gets stiffer. Other than that, there's not a lot more to tell you about seals. Other than when you're installing them, you should always use a seal driver. Some guys like to make things out of PVC pipe, but you got to be really careful on this style of a seal. This kind of a seal you could probably get by with driving it with a PVC pipe, but on this style seal, unless you've machined out the inside of it, you're going to damage this outer lip while you're doing that. So I highly recommend you use a seal driver. And when you remove your old seals, you should always heat the fork tube with a torch, like a butane torch, in the area of the seal on the outside. Heat it so that the seal comes out easier when you have to pull the fork apart. That way you won't damage the bushings. I think that's all for now.